Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast. Got a pretty interesting show for you here today. Going to talk some NFL. We got the Super Bowl set, and Kansas City Chiefs, they may be doing something that we thought we would never see again. But before we get to that, if you haven't already and you're here on YouTube, please go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell so you can be kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. We are almost there to that magic number 1,000 subscribers. And let me say real quick, I really appreciate everybody who's subscribed so far, everybody who listens, everybody who shares. Just keep it going, keep sharing, and let's get some new blood in here to listen to what we got going on, and get to that point where we can have these live call-in shows and really take the show to the next level for 2024. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in the Format Podcast. We should come right up. Give us that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Give us that 5-star review and leave us a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Now let's get right to it. So on the intro, one of the things I said was the Kansas City Chiefs may be doing something that we thought we would never see again. And what do I mean by that? The New England Patriots were on the greatest run in the history of the NFL in terms of dominance, in terms of winning their division, in terms of playing in conference championships games, in terms of winning Super Bowls and appearing in Super Bowls over an extended period of time. What does that speak to? That speaks to great coaching. That speaks to great players on the field. That speaks to great ownership. That speaks to great front office leadership. Everything all in one just came together over the past 2 decades for the New England Patriots. And we saw them across that time set a record by appearing in 8 straight conference championship games. We saw them appear in 9 Super Bowls. We saw them win 3 Super Bowls in the first decade of the Super Bowl championships than any other franchise in history. And we know a huge part of that was obviously future Hall of Fame head coach Bill Belichick, who many believe is the greatest head coach of all time. I believe that. But an even bigger part of that, obviously, is Tom Brady, former quarterback, who coincidentally left the Patriots and won a 7th Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And many believe he is the greatest quarterback of all time, and some believe he's the greatest football player of all time. Tom Brady was absolutely freaking amazing. Now, what we saw, that extended run of dominance, absolute dominance in the AFC East and in the American Football Conference on the whole, led us to believe that we would never ever see anything like that in football again. And why would we think that we'd never see anything like that? Because the sport of football and the way the NFL is made, in terms of the salary cap, in terms of injuries, in terms of turnover, in terms of free agency, the sport is made so that one team cannot dominate forever. And that's why the sport is loved so much. You can see a team come out of nowhere or build itself into a contender over a period of years. But we rarely, if ever, see one team win at that level for so long. Now, we have seen dynasties before, so let's not act like we haven't. In the 1960s, before most of us were really watching football, some of the older viewers may remember that the Green Bay Packers were the team, right? There's formerly the Redskins. And so, yeah, even though they didn't do it over such a tight time frame, that was one of the best teams in the league for that stretch. You saw in the 1970s, the Miami Dolphins won 2 Super Bowls. And in 1972-73 season, they had the last undefeated season. Let's start with Patrick Mahomes, arguably the most incredible quarterback we've ever seen, and a guy who's likely on pace to be the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. If he retired right now, he would be a surefire Hall of Famer. He's got the best ever career to start a career. His first 6 seasons, he has never not been in the AFC Championship game. That's crazy, right? This is going to be his 3rd Super Bowl coming up here on February 12th. February 12th? Yeah, I believe it's February 11th, I think. This is going to be his 3rd Super Bowl coming up. He's won the first 2. He's already won 2 Most Valuable Player awards. He's got all the numbers. Patrick Mahomes is just a beast. He is absolutely incredible. He's doing things that we've never seen before. Now, if you know me, or if you watch the show, you know that I'm the guy who's always hesitant to talk about numbers in modern sports, because as we know, in most of these games, unfortunately, the leagues have tried to legislate out defense to put up offensive numbers because they believe that offense is more attractive to the casual viewer, and also because gambling is so major now Nobody wants to see 6'3", right? People want to see 38-35 or 41-35 or something like that, even 28-35, something like that. People want to see points get put up. And I can understand that. So with those influences, and the NFL talks about safety. In fairness, I'm sure there's some concern about that, but a big part of it, I believe, also has to do with the almost $1 billion check they had to write out over the CTE lawsuit a few years back. But at the end of the day, um, I'm this is why I'm hesitant to compare numbers across eras, because you see in all these leagues that the rules have been changed to proliferate scoring, and it is what it is. But Pat Mahomes is one of those guys in sports that I have no doubt whatsoever that he would be a beast, whatever era he played in. Now, um, he wouldn't be this level of beast if he played back in the day, because obviously you could hit receivers and you could hit quarterbacks, and it wasn't nearly as easy, and all the rules weren't skewed towards the offense. Defenders could actually defend, but I think he would still be an animal. And don't get me wrong, he's also had the benefit of being paired with arguably the greatest offensive coach of all time, and that's Andy Reid, who is looking for his third Super Bowl championship as well. And this will be, this will be his fourth Super Bowl appearance as well. He had one with the Eagles where they lost to the Patriots, and then he's got the 3 with Kansas City. So he's rapidly moving up the list in terms of all-time great coaches. And so the Chiefs, I mean, you wonder, is there an end in sight to this? And the reason I say that is many people thought that this season would be the season that you would see the Chiefs kind of fall off, because the first couple of times we knew them for explosive offenses, and it's oddly looking like the Patriots in terms of the Chiefs demonstrating over time and through different seasons that they can win in different ways. We saw the Patriots win early with defense. We saw the Patriots get to the Super Bowl with explosive, lights-out offenses. We saw the Patriots win with ball control offenses. We saw the Patriots win running the football. So we saw them win all kinds of different ways, whether it's high scoring or low scoring or whatever it took. Bill Belichick, the genius, and then Tom Brady, the executioner, were able to draw it up, execute it, and make it happen for these guys to bring home 6 championships out of 9 appearances. And so that is absolutely incredible. And now you're starting to see that with Kansas City. Again, we know that Andy Reid is one of the best play designers in the history of football. We know that Pat Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the history of football. We know that Travis Kelce is arguably the greatest tight end in the history of football. Anytime you're breaking Jerry Rice's records, well, you're an absolute problem. Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce together are breaking Joe Montana and Jerry Rice's records. Those guys are seemingly unstoppable. And so even in a situation where you see the Kansas City Chiefs not necessarily investing in the elite wideouts on the outside to give Pat Mahomes the high-flying weapons that he's used to, now we see Steve Spagnuolo and Big Game Spags drawing up these defenses that are locking people up. And not just in these big games. On the whole, they've had one of the best defenses in the league this entire season. I think they were one of the top 5 rush defenses, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Kansas City was number 2 in scoring defenses. They were one of the better total defenses. So Steve Spagnuolo, Andy Reid, and that whole organization understood that this is not going to be one of the high-flying offensive Chiefs teams, and they still found a way to win with dominating defense. They ran the football more than Andy Reid is known for doing. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce made the plays they needed to play, and for the first time ever, Pat Mahomes played 2 road playoff games, won them both, and beat the number 1 seed on the way to the Super Bowl. I mean, what can get in these guys' way? If they go and they beat San Francisco again and win this Super Bowl, that'll be Pat Mahomes' 3rd one. That'll be Andy Reid's 3rd one, Travis Kelce's 3rd one, the 4th overall as a franchise for the Kansas City Chiefs. And you're going to start wondering, because this was the year that people should have been able to get them. This was the year. So now, in a year where they're down offensively, they didn't have the advantage of home field throughout the playoffs, they still rolled through and did what they did. What is going to be able to stop these guys and get in their way? You got to wonder, and you got to say nothing. And the thing is this: do you really believe Pat Mahomes and that Chiefs, Andy Reid and the Chiefs front office is not going to attempt to get Pat Mahomes more weapons for next year? Do we really think that's not going to happen? We know that they're going to try to get more weapons for this guy, because why wouldn't you? He's one of the greatest gunslingers who ever played. And so you give him more weapons, you got another chance to get back there. You have to maximize every bit of Pat Mahomes' prime because he's that good. And as you've seen, again, I mentioned it, in 6 seasons as a starter, he has never not been in the conference title game. And this is his 3rd Super Bowl appearance. The guy is that good. And so getting back to the original premise of this video, we talked about the dominance of the New England Patriots. Now we see it's quite possible that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the new New England Patriots going forward, if they're not already. And the fact that players can play much longer nowadays because of the way the rules are written, and injuries in terms of guys getting crushed are a little less. Now you have a lot of non-contact injuries, etc. But the way they're protecting the quarterbacks and the way they're protecting receivers, offensive players can play a lot longer. So if organizations are willing to pay these guys and set their pay structure in such a way as to attempt to keep them together, well, then you have an opportunity when you have an elite team like this to keep it together longer. So this is going to be crazy. So my question for you is, what I'd like to know, are the Kansas City Chiefs the new England Patriots? Is the Patriot way now giving way to the Chiefs kingdom? Leave your comments in the comment section. Can't wait to hear from you. Can't wait to answer them. And I'll be back next time. And I'm out. Peace.